the thing that I want to focus on this morning is learning to understand the timing of God. When you know God and when you walk with Him, you realize that God operates on a very specific kind of a time schedule. As children of God, we don't doubt that God is there and that He will come through. But the part that we struggle with is His timing. Maybe you've prayed this prayer recently. When, Lord? When? How long, Lord? How long do I have to pray for this? Maybe you're praying for that right job for 10 years and you still haven't found that right job. And you're so frustrated. Maybe you're praying for a life partner and you've given up all hope and you're like, Lord, I'd rather stay single, and you feel so frustrated in that place. Maybe you're praying for a child in your marriage and you don't know where else to turn to, and you feel so abandoned and you feel like God's not listening to you and the timing is not working for you. Lazarus, who was a good friend of Jesus, was dead, and Jesus had been notified to come quickly. They sent messages to Jesus saying, come quickly. Lazarus is dying, and pretty much Jesus ignores the request and continues on ministry. Lazarus would die and be buried, and Jesus would continue to do his teaching and working for 2 more days before he started his journey to Bethany. The only reason I can give you for the callous response that Jesus had for this SOS help that came to him was that Jesus knew how the story was going to end. He knows how your story is going to end. You may be in that moment where you're absolutely in despair and you don't have a clue how things are going to turn out. I want to encourage you and I want to tell you, we have a God who knows. We have a God who sees, and we have a God who is aware of how things will end in your life. Why? Because He's not only the Alpha, but He's also the Omega. He not only begins, but He also finishes. He begins and completes what He begins. First question that Mary and Martha asked Jesus as soon as He walks into their home is, why didn't you come sooner? Lazarus would have lived if you come 3 days ago. Jesus says, peace, hold on, take me to the grave. And you take him to the grave and He says, roll away the stone. He says, no, Jesus, we don't want to do that. Because he's been in there 3 days and it's going to stink if we open it. There's no way we're going to open that. And He makes this incredible declaration. He says, I am the resurrection and life. That day, Jesus stood in front of that grave and He declared and says, Lazarus, come forth. And those were the most powerful words ever uttered in that little town of Bethany. And when those words were uttered, death had to give up to that amazing declaration that Jesus made. He said to the disciples, all authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me, Jesus says. It's not like the world's authority. His authority supersedes every boss that you ever worked for, every teacher that said no to you, or every situation that you went through. His authority supersedes every circumstance. And when He says it, the Bible says not even one word that goes out of His mouth will return back to Him void, but it shall accomplish what it's set out to do, because God is a powerful God. And when He declares, every storm will have to stop, every wind would have to die, every dead have to give up, because we serve amazing, wonder-working, all-powerful Jesus, who's able to take the dead things and turn them into life again. Come on, church. We serve a mighty God. He is the resurrection and the power. When He speaks, death listens. Hold on to the hope. Understand that His timing is perfect. When He's done with what He's doing in your life, it's going to be glorious. And your prayer every day is, Lord, give me the strength to get through this day until I see that breakthrough that's coming for me. Give me the strength to know that you're working on my behalf and you're doing something amazing, and I'm going to trust in you at all times. In Isaiah 64, verse 4, it says, for since the world began, no ear has heard and no eye has seen a God like you, who works for those who wait for him. God who works for those, and the key there is, who wait for him. So if you see that waiting season from a man's perspective, it can be frustrating, it can be hard to get through. But if you see it from God's perspective, God says, if you wait for me, I'll do things in your life that no eye has seen, no ear has heard. I'll do amazing things if you wait for me. What your despair is today can become your greatest message tomorrow.